Hello everyone, and welcome to the second royal reading of today, a Monday afternoon. Same tarot deck on the tarot table with a lovely light Sears tarot. Don't normally use it for these royal readings because of the energy that often comes through in these readings, but today, dealing with some very powerful, very light-filled women, I thought we could crack open the light Sears and enjoy this beautiful tarot deck. And continuing with the theme of the previous reading, same theme, Megan's podcasts, trying to entice some real big names onto that podcast. Just a different name in this reading. The name, of course, the Princess of Wales. And allegedly, when Megan was back in the UK the last time, we all know what happened then. Somewhat twist of fate there for Meghan and Harry. But anyway, it was the Queen's passing. But allegedly, she reached out to Catherine and offered her a whole podcast to herself. She wouldn't have to share it with anyone else. She could have a whole podcast to herself and talk about the difficulties of being a duchess, something that she and Meghan allegedly have in common. The difficulties of being a duchess and having to raise a family. Farcical notion that Meghan is raising a family. Nannies are doing that. Meghan is sitting with the rosé on the Hotmail account. My opinion. And let's remind you that this is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes, or just my opinion, or speculation, or gossip. Disclaimer in the box below. But apparently this offer, this generous gesture was made to the Princess of Wales, who has not replied. And Meghan never wanted to give up. When she wants something, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. Has been messaging Catherine occasionally, talking about her holiday plans, trying to put together a meeting when the Waleses, the whatevers they are now, are in the US in December. Persisting is our mix. But as the headline went, two-faced Meghan, Kate won't fall for fake olive branch. That was closer. And apparently Catherine has not replied to this generous gesture, and William is not falling for it. We're not reading on William. One more shuffle. We are reading on Catherine. We're going to look at, in a little 5-card reading, we're going to see how Meghan feels about Catherine and about having Catherine on her podcast, how urgent this is. We're going to look and see how Catherine feels about appearing on the podcast and her general feelings about Meghan. I think we know her feelings about Meghan. And we are going to see how Meghan feels about the silence, which, oh yes, is a rejection, a no. And what impact this is going to have on her credibility, on her podcast, on her deal with Spotify. She hasn't been able to lure any of the royals onto the podcast, including her own husband, who has not appeared on the podcast. Well, he's passed through and sort of given a shout out to Serena Williams, but that's about it. Apparently Spotify is saying, where is has been? We actually are contracted with both of you to appear on the podcasts, not just you, little Miss Markle. So Miss Markle in a spot of bother there, perhaps speculating. 5 cards, light Sears tarot. Let's see what it wants to tell us about this. And how funny, I've got the Page of Wands in reverse now. Very interesting, because this same card came out in the same spot in the previous reading that I've just done with the same cards on Reese Witherspoon, but it came out in the upright this time. It's come out in the reverse. Bad news. Feeling very pessimistic about things is our Megs. And let's look across. I did shuffle and shuffle and shuffle in between. We got the Chariot in reverse. And who's the Chariot? But our Cancerian, Prince of Wales. Prince William said, nah, you are not doing that. No. I'm sure Catherine is capable of making her own decisions and making up her own mind and telling Meghan what to go and do with herself or by herself. But Prince William is absolutely not allowing this to go any further. No. And so pretty clear so far. Let's see the heart of this reading, this situation. What is the situation? The Knight of Pentacles. This is Meghan and her journey. This is not has been. even though it does look a bit has-beenish in this sort of scruffy outfit there and barefoot. I have nothing against being barefoot. You might think I have a fetish about being barefoot. Not at all. But grew up barefoot in this country, and but this is a journey. This is a solid progress. This is plod through the Plodcasts, and slowly it goes. Megan trying her best to make something of this. Fluffy has come to lie here by the tarot table, and she has now she's lying on the cable that lights this ring light that I have that shines so awfully on all the cards. So if we suddenly plunged into darkness, it's because Fluffy has rolled over on the connecting cable. Anyway, the Knight of Pentacles is that slow, steady progress, wanting money, wanting a career, wanting this to succeed. Keep at it, keep persevering. That's our Knight of Pentacles. Plod. You can see in this rendition, he is actually off the horse. I often see him as falling off the horse. He's going so slowly that he's not even on the horse. He is just walking, not making much progress, basically, but trying. A little star for trying, basically, to our Knight of Pentacles. So, situation that we are in. Megan first. Megan's feelings about getting Catherine onto this podcast. Feelings about Catherine. Feelings about having her on the podcast. Yeah, she needs this. She needs it. She needs it to... It's interesting how the knight has become the king, and that is the trajectory, that's the journey. She's plodding along here, not making much, not gaining much, but if she can get this, she is King of Pentacles. She's the boss. She is the great success. She is in the money. She is in the pound seat. And look what I have achieved in my library. Aren't I magnificent? She'd be very, she'd be set up. Set for life, not set up, wrong preposition. She'll be set for life. The podcast will be a roaring success, and Spotify will be in awe of her accomplishment, and she will have achieved her goal. Plod, goal. How does Catherine feel about basically being exploited? That's my personal opinion about this situation. How does she feel about appearing? This is so funny. Honestly, I cannot believe that I'm holding this card, because this is the exact same card that came up in Reese Witherspoon's reading, in exactly the same place, but this time in reverse. And I really did shuffle. I actually can't believe that these two cards have come up like they have. Goodness, sometimes the universe is so literal, it's terrifying. More and more so. I don't know if you notice those numbers like 1212 on your phone. Every time I look at my phone, I see one of those 0909, whatever kind of numbers. It makes me wonder if the matrix is beginning to just collapse. And I don't mean that in a scary way. I mean that in a very good way. But anyway, that's my little mad tangent over there. 9 of Swords in reverse. This is her worst nightmare. It was Reese Witherspoon's worst nightmare. This is the nightmare of all nightmares, that this crazy woman, my opinion, just will not let go. She's relentless. She's going to keep on and on and on and on, and it's always going to be a nightmare. And what can we do? Terrible energy in that card. This poor 9 of Swords woman here, tormented. Catherine often wears red dresses like that. Megan has taken to wearing them too. This is, oh no, what do I do? How do I respond? How do I get out of this? How do I handle this? We've got a hell no over here. Don't you dare. Prince William will handle it if Catherine doesn't handle it. This is a terrible situation she's finding herself in now. Stitched up by Megan, who she knows. Catherine knows Megan cannot stand her, but wants to use her for her own gain. Pentacles and Pentacles. So how does Megan feel about the no response, the no traction? That's the word I was thinking about over there. That so far, a big silence. King of Wands in reverse. She hasn't got the glory that she's after. There she is in the background, that lion, that Leo. King of Wands is big impact, very dramatic, Look at me, I lead everyone with my enthusiasm and my creativity and my vision and all this stuff with my fantastic podcast, but in reverse. So she's failed. She's failed with her scheme, with her plan, she's failed to ignite this situation. She's failed to spark interest and enthusiasm. We've got it twice here, wands in reverse, the little page of wands, the bad news, the communication flop here, and there's the king. She wants to be the king of pentacles. She really is the king of wands in her energy. We're getting women coming across in masculine energy in this reading, interestingly, but failed. It would have been such a coup. It would have been so exciting, the two of them chatting girl talk like she had with that silly Canadian woman. Sorry, all you Canadians, but she is infinitely silly, in my opinion. The one Megan called the First Lady of Canada. Canada does not have a First Lady. But how they were sitting by the pool and drinking their rosé while their kids were drowning in the pool near them. Can't believe that she could say, well, I mean, she didn't say that the kids were drowning, but to be, guzzling wine while your kids are splashing in an unsecured pool, tiny little, kiddies who really... Anyway, let's not go on about that. But this the outrage and indignation of it all, and the nonsense of it all. Then turned out that Sophie was in fact in Canada doing this interview, and not even anywhere near that swimming pool in Montecito. So, but yeah, it would have been so exciting for Megan to have that girl talk with Catherine, and the hardship, as I say, of being a duchess. Megan's been a duchess for 5 minutes. Catherine has been at it for decades. But anyway, outcome for Megan, outcome of this failure to land the big fish. How is it going to impact her? Oh dear, yeah. Queen of Wands, there she is, finally come out in her true colours. The Queen of Wands, our drama queen, our podcast host, our laziest interviewer ever, in reverse, the big flop. Big flop. It's noticed, it's seen. She hasn't been able to land these people. She hasn't been able to inspire anyone, excite anyone, enthuse anyone. Podcast is disappearing off the charts. It's going down, 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 like a helium balloon with a hole in it. And does not bode well for her. It does not bode well for her getting another season, getting another contract, getting more money out of Spotify. Big flop. Very highly visible flop, and a total nightmare for our poor innocent Princess of Wales, who just can't believe her luck, her misfortune, the horror that she has found herself in. Phone Reese Witherspoon. You've got a lot in common. My advice. That's the reading. Thank you for watching. I'm going to stagger away and see you again tomorrow.